I am your host, Leah Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance. Hello and welcome back. I'm your host, Leah Dunlap, and this is the Oracle on Purpose podcast. We have another special edition of our podcast based on the Podapalooza event that just happened here in June. And I want to make sure that we get all of these amazing, juicy guests in. So we've kind of stretched ourselves past our limits. We're bringing more people in for you to hear and learn about. I know that as a loyal follower, you guys are always interested in finding out about more about the individuals we interview and their purpose and how they're being in alignment with that and making an impact in the world. So I'm excited to bring to our stage the next guest, Jessa Carter. And I want to tell you a little bit about Jessa before we jump in and ask her all those wonderful questions we'd like to ask, digging deeper into who she is and what she's about. But as I want to share about her, I want to get you the opportunity to make sure that you are ready to listen, that you pay attention, because at the end, we're going to let you know how you can actually get in touch with her even further if needed. So again, my guest today is Jessa Carter. She is known as the high achiever's secret weapon. She's an expert on subconscious mind and human potential, who optimizes the mind for inevitable success and fulfillment in life and business. Now, here's what caught my eye about Jessa as I was looking through all the amazing people at Podapalooza. She actually, after a 10-year career, I want to make sure I get those numbers in there, a 10-year career in neurosurgery, and unfortunately, a devastating death of her fiance, Jessa began a journey of healing and personal growth that uncovered her calling to be of service to others in a profound way that far superseded the limitations she faced in Western medicine. Now, what is wonderful about that, and I'm so glad that Jess is here to talk to us, is that, we talk so often in our circle here about the quantum field, the quantum process, quantum mechanics, manifestation, and all those wonderful, juicy things that most of us have learned over the last few years working with me, that it's all about both, living in the and. It's not just enough to think good thoughts, but we have to take action. We have to be co-creative. So thank you again, Jessa, for being here. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about what brought you beyond just that event, but what brought you deeper into this work and what it is that you feel aligns with your purpose around the work you do.
Absolutely. It was really the biggest part of my own journey, because on my own path of healing and personal growth, early in that journey, I had received the guidance that I was meant to speak on stage. And so I knew I was meant to speak on stage. I knew I was meant to write a book. I knew I was meant to help people, and in a very different and profound way outside of the confinements of Western medicine, because ultimately I had come to the realization after 10 years, right, that really what I was doing was sick care. And I had become so well versed for myself on the mind and the body's capacity to heal itself and be well naturally when you give it the right environment. So I became really, really passionate about that. But doing the work that I do now, and the reason that I do it is because what I learned and what I realized on my own journey of growth and success is the disconnect between the conscious mind and what your conscious mind thinks and what your subconscious mind actually has stored and what your subconscious mind actually believes. So, for example, for me, I was like, okay, like I'm capable, I'm smart enough, I can do this whole entrepreneur thing. And yet all of this, I had invested all this time and money in myself in traditional personal growth courses, and I hadn't gotten where I wanted to go yet. So I was like, well, why is that? If I think that I'm smart enough and that I'm capable, then why am I not taking the action that supports that? And that was really when I realized what the disconnect was. So I'm like, consciously, I believe it, but subconsciously, I'm not taking the action. I'm not taking the steps and doing the work. And so when I asked the question, I got the answer from source, spirit, whoever you get your guidance from, that's where mine comes from. And I was told that I was meant to do deep work with people. And I said, I don't know exactly what that means yet, but I know that I'll be guided to what that is. And so one of the tools that I use in my toolbox of many within the quantum space is theta healing. And so that's really the easiest way and the most beautiful and gentle way that I've found that is completely permanent, that far made the biggest change in my life and actually collapsed time. So I went from having all these goals and dreams for years to starting to do that deep inner work. And all of a sudden those dreams were my reality in like 6 months.
Exactly. I love that idea. The concept of collapsing time is such a big piece of what I do with my clients as well. We work on, so I love that idea. You take this concept of the conscious effort and rewire the subconscious belief system that is typically conflicted, right? There's a conflict between the two. And to know that you, through theta healing, you're able to really move that mountain, if you will, in that collapsed time frame and bring people to success in the shorter time frame. It's this idea and the concept that the belief, what you believe, like I say, is what you believe is what you receive. You can talk all you want, but bottom line, what you really believe in your subconscious mind, that is the driver, and it will make it so. So as you've been able to start to do this work, what has been one of your most, I would say the word I would want to use is, what has been one of your most surprising results that brought you even to a point of understanding what a big difference this work can make in the world?
I mean, the most surprising thing I feel like is that it's gentle and it's permanent, and you energy test, so you have the proof, right? So people have the proof, and I'm a science. I come from that medical background. Like, I'm a science left-brained analytical person who then swung into the conscious and the energy and understanding that. And that's really what I love about it, is that, ultimately it is all backed in science. And for me, it's really about feeling exquisite on this journey and designing a life that you love and feeling really, really incredible in it while you're on that path, while you're on the journey. Because if you're not, if you're not enjoying it, then if you're not enjoying the journey, then you're not going to enjoy the destination as much as you think you're going to either.
Absolutely. And I would even go one step further and say you're not going to get to the destination you believe you will if you're not enjoying the journey, because the real truth of why we're here is to be in joy and to express ourselves from that place. So as you move into the work and look at the future for yourself in what you've created and what you've moved into doing through theta healing, and I know that you have a book coming out, and the progress forward, even though the time has collapsed, what do you see on your horizon? What is your big vision for what you're going to create with the work and the purpose of who you are in this world today?
Well, that's such a big question, and that that deepest core purpose for me is bringing divine love and divine leadership to the world. And so that's why I love working with high achievers and entrepreneurs, because individually and collectively, we have such a power to impact the world and really create that ripple effect. And so it just stems downstream. Like, I'm a philanthropist, I'm huge on contribution, and it's understanding that you have human needs in this physical space, but you also have spiritual needs, and being able to fulfill both of those. And for me, speaking is my favorite thing to do, to really have a bigger impact and get the message out there, and to to normalize the word healing, because I think everyone is so fearful when it comes to healing. And the reality of it is that when you're shifting limiting beliefs, and when I'm lifting, regret for you, when I'm, giving you like a space to create forgiveness in a way that you've never been able to do that before, there's what happens is this profound shift, right? So then it's just this ripple effect of these peaceful, conscious leaders who are able to then go out and do their beautiful, amazing work in the world in the absolute highest and best way.
Yes, absolutely. I love to think of it when people talk about science. And I also, actually in my old corporate days was in the science world. I don't often think about that very much anymore. It's been a minute. But one of the things I remember saying when I left there is, one day, there's a great quote from a movie. It says, one day science is going to show up at the top of the hill and religion will be there waiting for it. Like there is a point where these pieces, like you said, of the technical aspect of understanding the scientific background to things still comes back to mystery, still comes back to wonder, still comes back to, as you said, the healing of the whole and the healing process that we get to offer our clients and our listeners as they understand that they have the capacity, as you said, to be well naturally, that to be within us is this healing power. And I love the idea of normalizing, even just using that word in conjunction with more relative data, as you say, that we can combine the two, we can bring a place between where the two can meet and people can understand that the power that they have themselves is almost palpable between those two fences. Like that you stand inside the ability to say, I'm going to understand the science behind this and the wonder at the same time, to take full advantage, right? That 360-degree view of what is possible, and how that does, of course, then help with collapsing the time from our idea, our concept, our belief to the expression of what we're trying to achieve. Now, you mentioned to me before we got started that you have a new book coming out. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my book is called The Peaceful Millionaire: Mind, Money, and Soul Wisdom for Entrepreneurs. And it's really diving in deep and just understanding that inner game, right? That truly enjoying all that you're creating. It's all an inner game. So it all stems from that inner place, and how powerful you are to create the exact reality that you choose, that you desire for yourself. I had such a beautiful conversation, and someone asked me kind of, what was my definition of heaven on earth? And to me, heaven on earth is giving people access to the infinite potential that is already within them and tapping into that, but also giving them this like inner peace, right? Because when you can lead and earn and share from this place of just complete peace and love within yourself, that is power. That is so powerful, because I for 10 years, and it was the first 6 years of my career in medicine, I worked 60 to 80 hours a week. I was beyond overwhelmed, beyond stressed, and I was so trapped in it that I couldn't even see all of the beauty and how much life I was robbing myself of during that time, and how much more was out there and how much more was available to me. And so it's so amazing to, even as an entrepreneur, to be able to create and lead from this place of calm and this place of peace. And I just want to give that away in drones. I wish there was a magical pill that could give you that, but it is already within you, and it's having someone help you and guide you and give you access to that which is already yours.
I love it. Absolutely. I think that when we do really tap into honestly, after all doing this work for 28 years, I would say that most people, we say we're like just touching the tip of the iceberg. And really, I think we're still touching the tip of the iceberg in what is potentially available to us as human beings connected to this source, as you described. And I think that the book sounds fascinating. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for you, as you said, to reach more people and for more people to get in touch with that part of themselves that really can make the difference. So when we talk about getting in touch, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about theta healing or about the book? How will they reach you, Jessa?
So the best way to reach me right now is to text the word wealth. Text the word wealth to 352-309-0916. Oh, 916. All right.
So that's a little tough if you're watching and listening to this while you are driving. So please do not try to do that while you're driving. We will make sure that we have all that information in the wealth notes. Sure, why not? In the notes for this episode. So text the word wealth to 352-309-0916. Again, don't worry if you're not somewhere, you can write that down. We will make sure that everything you need is accessible in the notes for this episode. Jessa, thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom and giving voice to the light from your reflection, because I think that's what we're all here to do. So I appreciate that. If you were to give someone a final thought, the elevator doors are closing and there's one more thing you want to tell them, what would you want them to know about this level of healing?
Where you are now is closer than you've ever been. Keep going.
I love it. Yes.
Where you are now is closer than you've ever been. Keep going.
I love it. There you go. You've heard it here. Where you are now is closer than you've ever been. Keep going. Thank you so much, Jessa, for being here. Jessa Carter is my guest today. I am Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. Remember, as we always say, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just know that you are absolutely here on purpose. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Oracle on Purpose show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Also, you can subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. If you'd like to get clear on your highest vision and next steps, go to oracleonpurpose.com. See you next week.